always think the best way to express body language is through a story. So I'm going to tell you a story of my first time driving. Well, not my first time driving, my first time driving with my mom.
No.
So before I tell the story, I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction per se. I had been driving before. In fact, I had been through 18 weeks of driver's ed, and even driven around some neighborhoods and on some main roads with my driver's teacher. They're obviously much better about being calm when you drive. So I was confident. I thought I could drive because my driver's ed teacher said I was one of the best drivers in the class. So we pulled out of the driveway, turned on the street, went out of the neighborhood, which is a bit of a loopy one, went down, and our first stop when I was driving with her, I believe was a CVS, but it might have been a Walgreens. I always get them mixed up. So we pulled in, we got out, we did what we needed to do, we got back in, and then we were going to leave. Now, when going to leave, there's this little road you have to go in before getting on the main road again. And she's like, get into the closest lane. So I'm like, really? Are you sure about that? Yes, get into the closest lane. I'm like, okay, I'll get in the closest lane. I was convinced this must have been a one-way or something. It was not a one-way. So the closest lane, because I was turning left, would have been the opposite lane of traffic. So I turn in like, okay, and then she's like, no. And I immediately start turning, I'm like, oh God. And I was all over the place for a second until I got in. Luckily for me, there were no cars down this road today. It could have been much worse because it was right next to the entrance to, it was right next to 434 where people would turn in to get to this Walgreens. So it could have been bad. But I got lucky. After that, obviously, I'm a nervous wreck at this point. My mom was a nervous wreck from the moment I got into the car, but she just got worse after this. So she's panicking, I'm panicking, but strangely enough, I'm still being allowed to drive. So we're going down 434, and I needed to switch lanes. I checked my top mirror, I checked my side mirror, I checked my other mirror. Apparently I didn't check the left mirror enough. So I turn in to the next lane, and she immediately grabs the steering wheel and yanks it back. She's like, you didn't check! Because apparently there was a car in my blind spot that I didn't see. And it just got, I don't even know how to explain what happened next, because next thing I know, I'm almost perpendicular to the car behind me.
What?
Luckily they knew how to slam on their brakes, so there was no wreck. But in the middle of 434, in the middle lane, I am perpendicular to traffic. It's not pretty. She climbs out of the car, I have to climb over to the next seat, and she gets in, and that was the end. Thank you.